Hey, welcome everyone. It is 55 and 5 time here. It's Ian Riccaboni, Cary Silkin. Our producer AJ is manning the camera from Bisson Creative and Web Design. Cary, we had a man with a grandson currently playing in the NHL, one of my favorite players, Nolan Patrick. It was his grandfather, Steve Patrick.
Interesting guy, went on to a political career, fathered two NHL stars, grandfathered yet another one, and it was a Stu Hart came out of the Stu Hart camp. So, he only had 6 matches.
Right.
So he must have been a tough son of a gun.
Right. It lasted 12 years in the CFL, the Canadian Football League, one of the all-time great Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Today, we have 2 men from the United States. And it's interesting to note that because they were not portrayed from the United States. They were portrayed from Japan. And so it is our second tag team in the set. If this is your first time joining us, this is the 1955 Parkhurst set. Cary and I are going one by one through each card. Give a 5-minute history lesson on each. So Cary, I have a feeling you'll know these 2 gentlemen, or at least have heard of them. It's our second tag team we've hit so far. We've talked about the Sharp brothers.
Right.
And now, the Mills brothers.
And the Duseks.
And the Duseks briefly. But this tag team card is of the Togo brothers.
What a picture.
Right.
Now, you'll see the picture thanks to our great producer who gives you a close-up. But if I'm looking at it correctly, the one Togo brother has a sledgehammer.
That's great Togo, yeah.
And he's hitting the other Togo brother over the head seems to have a huge cement block on top.
They're yeah.
Am I looking at it correctly?
They may be trying to drive a stake through a giant wood block. It looks, or break the wooden block with the stake. It looks like. That's the way I'm interpreting it. Which is sort of as I was reading, it's a display of toughness that they would do.
They did put a towel under the Togo. They did. Now,
a little bit of protection.
I know the names, the Togo name. Can I give you a rundown on them? I really can't. I don't remember them I might be wrong, when I started watching wrestling in the late 60s. So I'd be happy to hear the legitimate information on them.
Well, you will know the lesser of the Togos, which is Tosh. He's the man getting hammered.
Tosh Togo.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in movies too?
Sure was. Yeah, Tosh Togo. We'll start with him because he was Oddjob.
Right.
So he was Oddjob in Goldfinger.
And they were Hawaiian.
Well, Tosh Togo, he was Hawaiian, and then the Great Togo, he was from Oregon.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, he was a philosophy major at the University of Oregon. Tosh Togo actually was a silver medalist in the 1948 Olympics for the United States in weightlifting. So here you have 2 men who were portrayed as Japanese stars that were as American as could be and from America, and very interesting that they would try and do that to make them villains. They were big time villains.
Yeah. So do you have any information? Did they wrestle always tag team? Or
No, that's the interesting part. Much like the Dusek family, they were the 2 Togo brothers, quote unquote. There would be additional Togos. There'd be Mas Togo, and he was actually the founder of modern karate, of Karate Mas Oyama. So this third, fake Togo, and then there was a fourth, Kokichi Endo, who's a very famous judokan, practitioner of judo. So he was kind of a super legit, shooter in terms of his skills in judo. So there'd be 4 Togos total. They wouldn't always team together. The Great Togo wrestled from 49 to 68, wrestled just about everywhere. He was known for his matches against Argentina Rocca in different places. Headlined in 62 at the Garden with Giant Baba. So Giant Baba we talked about it before. He was coming through.
If I would have had a photographic memory, because I like to look through these old guard. I have the book of the Madison Square Garden. Yeah. I always like to look at just before my time, and it just didn't stick in my head.
That's all right. They faced Rocca and Miguel Perez Sr., which was a big tag team at the time. The most fun result I could find for him, and he's got plenty because he wrestled quite actively for years. It was in Little Rock, Arkansas in 1949. He wrestled Gorgeous George. So that's
imagine that in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Right. He had also wrestled Wild Red Berry. He teamed with Buddy Rogers, faced Vern Gagne, almost all the Duseks, Luthez, Pat O'Connor, Bearcat Wright, Whipper Billy Watson. He would team with Tosh around the time these cards would have been created in 54 in NWA Upstate, Maple Leaf, and Eddie Quinn's promotion Montreal. In 55, they go to LA. They become TV stars out there. Their regular opponents are the Bockwinkel's, Warren and Nick Bockwinkel, and they feud with them. Feuds with Joe Blanchard as a single wrestler. And 56. Interesting wrinkle with his career, he becomes Ricky Dozen's tag team partner in 62. So he goes to Japan and has a lot of success as his tag team partner. Later, as manager in 68.
I think Ricky Dozen.
Right. He'd go back to Japan in 68. He became his manager in 62, 63. Pinned Antonio Inoki in 62 in one of Inoki's earlier matches. He's all but retired by 1964. Has a big Legends match, kind of a send-off against Whipper Billy Watson in 67. And then he does do he goes back to Japan in 68, does the World Series, the IWE World Series in Japan.
Quite a career.
And then Tosh Togo, who cares about the wrestling? This guy was a movie star. He was Odd Job. He was in Mako Jaws of Death. Happy Hooker Goes to Washington. He had a big role in that. He was in Impulse with William Shatner and on TV in episodes of Gilligan's Island and The Rockford Files. And he starred opposite George Kennedy. He was one of my favorites from the Naked Gun movies.
Right.
Starred on the show Sarge. And we talked about Johnny Carson on an episode of Last Stop Penn Station. He famously tore apart Johnny Carson's set as an homage to his famous Vicks Formula 44 commercial, in which he can't get relief from his cold. His wife
Did you try to YouTube that?
I did not.
Okay.
But I bet it's out there. Yeah, I bet it's out there, in which he destroys the house before.
Maybe he was on the same show with Jefferson Airplane.
Maybe. I doubt it, though. This was toward the mid-70s, I think. But what a tag team, and what a good wrestling career for Great Togo and then Tosh Togo, who would have cameos as Odd Job or Odd Job-like characters for years.
That was odd. Everyone talked about Odd Job.
Right.
That was like one of the big movie villains. It was Goldfinger.
Goldfinger, yeah.
It was such a huge movie. That was Sean Connery, right? And,
yeah.
Good one, my man.
Yeah, this is a fun card, and two names you should know if you don't, and great tag team from 54 to 57, and then
it's much more fun for me, even if I can't tell you a lot about the guy, when you give me all this interesting information about these people.
Yeah,
it's the way the cards are dealt.
Sure, and what I find interesting about this set, Reggie Lazowski. If you didn't know, he's the Crusher. He's kind of he's snuck in the set a little bit. Odd Job just kind of snuck in. There's various other wrestlers. The original Nikolai Volkov, Steve Gobb, just kind of snuck in. So you find these gems and you uncover a couple of guys here and there. And the Togo brothers, this is a fun one.
Good one, man.
Well, tomorrow, Cary, we have an NFL and college Hall of Famer. And I think you know who it might be.
Well, we'll find out.
We'll find out tomorrow. Join us each weeknight as we go through all 121 cards of the 1955 Parkhurst set. For AJ, our producer from Bisson Creative, is Cary Silkin, Ian Riccaboni. Join us tomorrow night, 8 p.m. We're going to be taking a look at a Hall of Fame football player. Was he a Hall of Fame wrestler too? We'll see. I'll have to find out.